Let's be real. You can't go to a hard money lender and get cheaper money.
And that's kind of the way I look at it. I mean, more cash on the side. Whether I reinvest that a little bit, but Carlos would probably disagree. But I'd rather have more cash to reinvest into more property.
But look at your age and look at Carlos.
Yeah.
He's not much older, but he has a wife, kids. He has everything else to where it's a different situation. Yeah. And that's why we're doing this, because people are in different forms of life.
Yeah, my mind might switch once I, become married
once you
and
have
kids
2 or 3 kids,
Yeah.
your mindset's gonna. I don't think so, because I think your mindset's already thinking long term.
Yeah.
You're already on a long-term mindset from day one. You started thinking long-term.
Yeah, but I guess more conservative mindset where I wouldn't pull out
as much as you pull out what you need, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the natural course of any investor, is just to pivot and change for what works.
When we hit 50, we're going to pivot again, because when we're 50, we're going to want all of them to be paid off.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you? Because then I want the max
all
amount of cash.
All I want to do is lend or whatever. Yeah. Like, you're just going to become a different investor.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. Yeah. I mean, different strategies. That's crazy, super interesting. So then most of your stuff now is not from BRRRRs, but you've gotten to the point now where you're starting to refinance the refinances.
A few of them, I've been starting to do that.
So how's that coming around? Because, like, sure, the market is, like, blown up and values are super high. So, like, some of these commercial loans have a balloon or have an arm where you have to refinance after a certain amount of time. So, and then there's others that are just like fixed mortgages that you can if you want to. But so are you refinancing those and then like pulling money back out and then also feeding your lifestyle as well as to helping you buy more rentals?
So I only do that if I see significant appreciation in a property where
what's that look like usually?
So let's say,
or what's your
I guess if I could pull out like
debt to value, what would you say?
So if I could refi it again, I would want to be able to pull out like $60K on that second refi. Otherwise,
so it's an amount. It's not a percentage. It's
not a percentage. I mean, as long as I think it'll appraise for this, I see the loan on it.
Yeah.
And
you're like, I pull out $60K.
Then it's worth it me paying those closing costs of $4 to $5K.
Now, how much closing costs are typical in something like that?
So it depends. If it's a commercial loan, it'll be between 3 and 5. But with some of these other loans, like Finance America and stuff like that, they charge a lot of points, so it'll probably be between 7 and 10. It all depends. Wow. So. If I know I'm still going to hold it long term and I can still pull out, $60,000. I mean, I can, and typically the payment actually lowers from what I was paying, since when I got these mortgages 4 or 5 years ago or whatever, the interest rates were at 6% on a commercial loan. To go down to 5, I can still pull out all that cash and actually keep the payment, or lower the payment, or keep it the same. Yeah.
And pull out $60K.
That's crazy.
Why not?
Why wouldn't you do it at that point?
Exactly.
Because
you want to pay off all the houses.
Pay off all your houses. Because you're going to get old.
Dave Ramsey said not to.
Debt is bad.
Dave Ramsey.
Get out of debt and pay off your house.
Yeah.
See, I think Dave Ramsey's good for people that aren't good with money.
Yeah.
But people that are good with money, you should never follow half the stuff he recommends. Because he would never tell you to buy any of those rental properties.
Yeah.
Until you had all.
I'd probably have 2 houses right now if I didn't pull any debt.
Oh, yeah. And it'd be foolish.
Yeah. How many houses would you have if you sold your entire portfolio and bought them all cash in Richmond?
How many what?
How many houses would you have? If you sold your entire portfolio, based on the equity that you have, how many houses, roughly, based on the averages, would you buy in Richmond?
So I'd probably have about 3 to 4. Between 3 and 4. Yeah.
No kidding.
Well, I'm doing that based off.
So following Dave Ramsey's model, you would only have 3 to 4.
3 or 4. Well, if I sold all my houses, I'd probably have around 700 to 800 in equity with all my houses.
Yeah.
Maybe like 6 to 7. And I'm thinking average $200,000 house.
Yeah, 200.
Between 3 and 4.
Wow. Compared to having.
Or you spread that 600-700 out. You do 20%. You could have 40 houses, 30 houses.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it is right now. And with no cash into it.
With no cash into it.
And where that really multiplies is like when inflation happens, appreciation happens, then all of a sudden, like if 1% goes up in your entire portfolio, the more houses you have, the bigger your increase is going to be for your net worth.
You should probably go more into that because people think that rentals are all about cash flow. When that's just one little teeny piece
one piece
of everything.
Because you get the appreciation, you get the principal paid down every month, so every month part of that payment is going towards
me as a tenant is paying your mortgage, and it goes down.
So every month I have about $4,000 deducted from my principal between all my houses.
Which increases your net worth.
Increases your net worth $4,000 every month.
Exactly. Then you get the depreciation of the property. And then you get the tax write-off.
What is depreciation? Like, doesn't your house appreciate every year?
Yeah, so it appreciates, but depreciates on paper. So it's bad for your ego, bad or good for tax returns, though. But I mean, it does. It's really
your ego doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't
you gotta
matter.
throw that out the door. You go to the gym to build your ego.
So you see a loss. So you see a loss on your tax returns of, let's say, like negative $10,000 because you depreciated it. Meaning, if you buy a house for $275,000.
Yeah.
Assuming that's what the value is minus the land, you get depreciated over 27 and a half years, meaning you get to take $10,000 off the top line or off the top line net income or bottom line net income
20 years
for the next 27 and a half years.
Wow. So now, doesn't that hurt though? Because most people, all they ever knew when they were growing up was make as much as you can on that W-2, so that way you can make X amount of dollars per year.
Yeah.
You don't mind taking the money off of there for not paying?
No, because taking the money off to save money now to pay them in the future, because you do have to pay that depreciation back when you go and sell it.
Yep.
So you're saving tax dollars now, but then when you go and sell it, you're obviously paying it in the future, but the dollar today is way worth more than a dollar tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, think of inflation. Your dollar's going down, 9%, 8% is what it just came in at.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You can just die, though, and then all of this.
Yeah, and then it goes to step no, for real. It goes to stepped-up basis.
Just die. Bill's going to croak before he sells.
I'll be like, it's best for my family. Not pay taxes.
Don't pay taxes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. See, a lot of people don't understand that. They don't know that there's 4 different categories that are benefiting you with one rental property.
Yeah.
Not multiple, but just one.
And not to mention all the write-offs you get, taxes, insurance, expenses, and all
Every
that.
time you go check on the house, now you got gas deductions.
Yeah, exactly. Every time there's a plumbing repair that comes off the revenue, so.
Yeah. And now on paper, this house is losing money, this house is gaining money, and they just wash each other out.
Yeah. And most people that have a big rental portfolio on paper show a negative income for the year.
I'm sure your income and your taxes are very.
I haven't done mine this year. I wonder what it's gonna be.
You haven't? I did mine. Mine are like very low.
Yeah. You're like surprised. You're like, dang. See, that's why I said it's like bad for you. You're like, damn, I lost like $30,000.
Yeah.
But you don't actually lose that.
I don't think that as a couple, I don't think we've paid. I think we paid as much taxes as we did when we were like in our early 20s when we were working retail, like very low, and it's because of our portfolio.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's all the depreciation that comes in.
You have your flips where you make money, and then you have your rentals that deduct money, and now at the end of the year, the goal is to wash them.
Yeah, and I will say that for the people that are out there that are gonna like try to shoot us and be like, oh, the government. I mean, the system's created for that.
Yes.
Right? To incentivize business.
Well, let's be real here.
It's the number one tax favored asset in the world. Really.
Yeah.
And let's be real. How many people have ever looked at the tax code or the tax book? Never.
Yeah,
they went on TurboTax and filed their taxes. If TurboTax didn't say they could take it off, guess what? They didn't take it off. So, and with us going the extra mile, learning the tax code, learning that you can depreciate
it's not easy what we do.
Oh, it's not. It's
right?
not easy
so,
at all.
Very confusing tax returns.
And not only that, but we take a risk. Every house we buy is a risk. So we should get rewarded for taking a risk.
And you're also doing, I mean, you're providing housing for people is the biggest thing. I mean, if there were no people like us. I mean, people hate landlords and everything, but really if there were...
At the end of the day, not everyone is in a position to be able to buy a house.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not in a position to buy a house, where are you going to live?
Yeah.
Someone else's house.
You're providing so much money flow because you're providing jobs for contractors, you're providing maintenance repairs for other people, you're providing housing, you're providing
property management,
like loans from banks, so you're also providing those kind of jobs. Like there's a lot that
You're
you do.
full circle in providing for
Yeah.
people, institutions. I mean, your money is going through a million different hands.
Yeah, they're all getting paid every
They're
time
all
somebody
getting
touches
paid,
it.
yeah.
But-
And you.
But then you carry the loan. You
Yep.
have all
Right.
the weight. You
Yeah.
have all the
Exactly.
weight.
On your
If
shoulders.
something happens, it's on you.
Yeah.
And so, like, why not have
Get
those
benefited
benefits?
from it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why not have those benefits?
Yeah.
And sure, you're gonna get some cream off the top, and it's gonna be beneficial to
Yeah.
you. But I feel like most of the benefits, especially for most rentals, I think it's like, especially long-term rentals, you don't make a whole lot of money on the long-term rental stuff.
No.
Yeah,
Like
you don't.
I see most of it for me, like on the back end when I'm doing my taxes,
Yeah,
and it's just like
Yeah.
it washes away a lot of my gains,
Right.
a lot of my gains. So it's like, okay, well I'm seeing it on the back end, and most people don't have the discipline to be like, all right, I'm gonna put in the effort now, and I'm not gonna see the benefit at this moment. I'm gonna see the benefit later,
Later.
Yeah.
Yep.
right? And
It's
that's what I feel
hard.
like we've mastered is like, it's not the now, it's the later.
But like you said, like our whole topic, pivoting. You have to pivot your mindset,
Yeah.
not just pivot your action, but you have to pivot your mindset to let yourself see like that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when I first started, I couldn't see that. I couldn't pivot my mind to see that. All I could think of was income now.
It's the check.
Yeah.
And the check. I wanted to see that dollar
Yeah.
amount. When I wanted to file my taxes, I wanted it to be as high as possible so I could
Yeah.
owe as much because I felt like I had accomplished
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Realistically, I was not accomplishing anything. I was just feeding the government at that point
Right,
and
yeah.
showing them, hey, I'm going to make all this money and I'm going to pay you all this money in capital gains
Yeah.
tax.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
it's cool that you learned that early on.
Early.
Like,
Yeah,
you
I'm glad
learn.
I'm glad I kept them all too, because
Right?
I mean, I'd be saying the opposite if we had a bear market and everything was going down. But I mean, over the
Well,
last
even
4
when
years,
it goes down,
as long as you hold them,
as
you're
long as
good.
you hold, you
and
never.
make cash flow.
Yeah.
But over the last 4 years, I mean, the appreciation of the property has been crazy.
Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy good, yeah.
Would-
And now you're being able to sell a few
Yeah,
of those.
get some
And
cash
are you
and-
doing any like 1031s into new
Yeah,
properties?
so I was thinking
or-
of that for doing it with this one, but I get so I figured out you have to put the full amount of
You do, yeah.
gains
Yeah.
of cash into it. So if I make 90K in cash, like
Yes.
I'm all in for 70, I sell for 150, I make 80K. I literally have to put that as a down payment or more on the next property.
Yes.
Yes.
And on a property that's the same or greater.
Of greater value.
Same
Yeah.
or greater, yeah. So you
Yeah.
can't go and take that 80 and buy a $60,000 house.
Yeah.
So now you're playing in a different.
But the
ball.
worst thing is I can't leverage that. I can't leverage
For
the
how long?
cash.
I was gonna say, can you refinance? Yeah. 'cause
Yeah,
what if you
I
put
mean,
it
that's a
in
big loophole.
and
Not
then you
loophole, but like
refinance?
that's a big question to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry to bring this in, but I thought that this was hysterical, and it kind of talks about.
Oh my gosh. Where's all your money gone, Donnie? Taxes.
What game is that?
Monopoly.
We fixed my houses. But it's okay. It's part of the game. No, it's not. It's not fun. It's not fun. What? It's the worst part of the game. What? Taxes.
That's why I don't sell my property.
It's
Yeah.
really the worst part about making money.
It
The more
is.
you make, the more taxes you pay.
Yeah.
And now, how do you figure out how to make more money but pay less taxes?
And
That's
there-
the game we're playing.
And it'd be foolish to not realize that there are rules to pay less taxes.
Rules.
If you just follow them. It's
Yes.
not like
Yeah.
you're like
They
trying to
don't-
hide from Uncle Sam and like
Yeah.
ski and like doing very sketchy
But Uncle
stuff.
Sam would be foolish to put it on TV and show everybody this is the
They're
way
just
you
gonna
can
make
do
less
it.
money.
They're gonna make less
Yeah.
money. So guess what? They keep it in the rule books. They know 90% of people are never gonna read those
Never.
rules
Yeah.
or follow that system.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, in the
win.
book there's 600 pages and 7 tell you what you have to pay and like 593 tell you ways to not pay.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yet, 1 out of 10 people that we know never ever look at that book or never
Yeah.
even think to look.
Never
Yeah.
even
I
do
had
research.
buddies that had W-2 and they literally complain about paying taxes every year, but they do nothing
About
to
it.
try and prevent it.
Yeah.
The next
nothing
year,
about
and
it.
then year over year, every time this time of year, come April, May area, I'm hearing about it, and they're like, "Oh, I just stroked them a check for X amount of dollars," and I'm like, "You want to start learning?
Yeah.
Like, I would love to teach you how to avoid that, because there's little tiny steps that will benefit you in 20 years and will benefit you right now.
Yeah.
But they don't want to learn.
Yeah.
They don't want to learn that part.
Yeah, some people just aren't interested in tax planning. and
They're
stuff.
not interested.
And your accountant doesn't bring it up to you either.
No.
For me, at least, I have to go to my accountant and just be like, I want to write this off, or I have to ask her, how do I write this off, or what
Yes.
can I write off? She doesn't reach out to me, and some accountants might be better, but she doesn't reach out to me and say, hey, you should do this with your books. You should do this with your profit and loss. You should buy this car, whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah, and you have to know. Like, for
You
me,
have to know.
with a little bit more experience, like I know that there's certain moves that I need to make in order to prepare for those kind of
Yeah.
things, which then helps my tax bill, which then helps me.
But your
continue to
accountant doesn't
invest.
bring those up to you.
No,
Yeah.
it's experience.
Yeah, it's just
It's
listening.
what I know. It's
Yeah.
what I've read. It's what I've seen. It's what
And
I've practiced.
learning, too, because let's be real, all three of us, we learn every day. We've
Always,
been in this game for a long time, but yet we are still learning
I
from
know
day
nothing.
to day.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
nothing.
I go
in the
into
grand
every
scheme.
conversation humble, quiet, and what can I learn?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that saying, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
seriously, that's real.
Yeah. So I'd rather walk into any conversation and just
Listen.
New. I'm new.
That's the reason they gave
I'm
us
new.
two of these.
I'm curious.
I mean,
Yeah,
just
and one of
listen.
these, right?
Yeah, listen
Yeah.
as much as you can.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's Dylan's kind of history
Background
and
and-
and real estate investing. It's very different than Daryl's. I mean, you went straight from like construction to like flipping 3, just like Daryl did, to then starting to do starting to do rentals. You did it in a prime market. That market has done really well. You've done one other flip since, but like you continue to turn those around. But now you're looking to pivot as of like maybe the last year and a half, something like that. Like you've now pivoted over into Richmond,
Right.
and now that's also still influencing like how you're modeling your business, and that's still kind of a growing phase too. But like, yeah, you have to just keep pivoting
changing.
depending on the
Yeah.
market. Depending on the market, depending on your skill sets, because I mean, as you become a better and better investor, that's also changed too, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of things that have changed along the way, but
And his skills have grown
Oh,
from
yeah.
doing house to house to house.
Yeah.
Your skills and your knowledge on how to do it has grown.
You know,
and
definitely from my first house. Amazing difference from my first house.
yeah.
so things have changed. So again, like I mentioned before, like each one of us has a story. We just need to get started. Honestly, it's very much a shooting and point approach for all of us. We've all tried it. We've all figured it out, and then we end up in a position that ends up being better. And you only realize what that better position is because you've tried these different things, and you're like, okay, I can do it better. I can do it better. And it's a self-improvement thing. It's not I started it and it was perfect from the first one that I did, and it was like, no.
Yeah.
And still to this day, we make mistakes.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
all
know
the
about
time.
y'all, but I buy houses, not all the time, but I buy houses here and there that weren't great deals.
Yeah.
Me too.
Now,
Yeah.
yes, I got out of them okay, but they were not great deals, and I
Yeah.
should not have. And if I was just starting, I wouldn't have bought them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have never bought these
Yeah.
houses when I first started because I was way too nervous and cautious to get in a situation.
Yeah.
And now we've gotten a little more comfortable to where we get that bad deal. Now it throws our guard back up a little bit, which
Yeah.
we need from time to time.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
need
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still make mistakes on the renovation side, whether it be overpaying contractors or not managing them correctly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not doing one thing right for a flip, not adding a dishwasher to a flip or something
Yeah.
something stupid that.
Or you get too many, and now you're not as involved
Yeah.
in each and every
Yeah.
one of them.
and their
You become less
contractors mess
efficient.
up.
Yeah.
And then the contractor messes up, and you didn't catch it until
Yeah.
3 weeks down the road when it could have been fixed if you were there,
Yeah.
like you used to be when you first
Yeah,
started.
yeah. That happens a lot once you're scaling.
It does.
It
It happens
does
when you
happen a lot.
scale.
Yeah.